Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. And in today's video, I'm going to give you my review for the new TV series that dropped on Netflix, and that is for the show That 90s Show, the sequel series to that 70s show. Um, Now, I'll start off by saying I am a fan of that 70s show on the complete series of it. Um, Obviously, there's going to be people out there bigger fans than me of that 70s show, but I do enjoy it. Um, when they had announced this show, I was interested for sure, um, but I went in with being skeptical, low expectations, um, just because you never know with these kind of things. When they decide to make a sequel to anything or reboot something, you never know how it's going to be. So went into that 90s show expecting, you know, hoping for the best, expecting probably the worst, honestly. But this brings us back to the house and everything that we know of that we loved from the first one with Red and Kitty, and uh, a whole new group of kids. Um, you had, which I had to write the names down for the kids because honestly, it was hard for me to remember them because of reasons I'll get into. But you have Leia Foreman, obviously Eric and Donna's kid. She comes to live with Red and Kitty for the summer. Well, it's supposed to be a visit, but it turns out to be staying for the summer. Um, and then you have Gwen and Nate, who are brother and sister. They live next door in Donna's old house. Um, and then you have a character named Nikki, who is Nate's girlfriend. And then you have a character named Ozzy, who is uh, one of the friends of the group. And then you have Jay Kelso, Michael and Jackie's son. Um, so going into this, I was wondering how would they bring in the cast, the original cast. How would they make this all uh, work this all in, make it all make sense and everything. Um, and the original cast outside of Red and Kitty aren't in it a ton. Um, you get Donna in it, and actually Fez in it the most. Um, and honestly, that's okay for now because they didn't really set it up for them to for everybody to come back that much. Um, I mean, there could have been there was one episode where I think you could have got Eric coming back, uh, which I did have an issue with that episode, but um, overall, it was the way they set it up. You didn't really need him in every episode, but just to be honest, this show for probably the first 7 episodes, I really wasn't connecting with this new cast. Um, they were just okay when it came to acting. They wasn't bringing anything new from with the writing. These characters pretty much mimic our original cast. Um, you have Gwen's character, who pretty much is the hide of the group. Nate and Nikki are pretty much Jackie and Michael. Um, and then you have Leah or Leia, excuse me,
Big
as
Princess Leia.
pretty much that's what she's named after, pretty much.
Oh, is
Because he's Eric's all into the Star Wars and everything. You have Leia is the Eric style character. Ozzy is the Fez style character, and Jay Kelso, he's kind of a mixture. You could say probably Leia is a little mixture of Eric and Donna, but you really get more Eric, I feel like. And Jay is kind of supposed to be the Donna, honestly, of the group, but he's kind of just a mix of, you get some of Michael personality, a lot of Michael's personality, which was kind of contradicting considering they made the Nate character kind of the same style character. But I guess you could say Jay was kind of the mix of the group. He was the one that was somewhat more original because his character wasn't focused, didn't mimic anybody one solely in particular. Um, but I couldn't connect with them. The way they wrote these characters, the way they done it, it just reminded me too much of our original cast. And that was one of the big things I was worried about, was it reminded me too much of that 70s show. And that's why I sort of had wished that they went a different route with this. I was hoping maybe we just get the original cast back and it'd be a continuation from where they left off in that 70s show, just solely following that cast. But unfortunately, that they chose to go this route, which sort of just mimics what we've already seen. But I will say it is funny, but it's mostly because of Red and Kitty. They pretty much carry the show throughout the whole first season. When I'm not laughing at them, it's something that either Fez has done, or it's the original cast that's making it funny outside of one character, and that's Sherry, who is Gwen and Nate's mom. I think she's the one new character that immediately made me laugh and I connected with from the first time she comes on screen. Don't know why. Couldn't tell you, but for some reason her character just really caught on with me, unlike the rest of these characters. Probably maybe because her character was different and it didn't mimic a character we've already seen, was probably why that was for me. But I mean, the show, I was very conflicted with it. It's not a terrible show. Like I said, it has a lot of good comedic moments with the original cast. And it obviously has that nostalgia factor. It does good with that 90s feel. I will say some of during the transition scenes from scene to scene, the style they went with, the background, I should say, they went with, reminded me, in my opinion, it could have been me, of Saved by the Bell. So I kept saying Saved by the Bell every time I saw that, the transitions, but it did, I will say, after I got through the first 7 episodes, I was very like, this is like a 3 out of 5 for me. It's just very average, nothing real original. It had its comedic moments, it had its nice nostalgia feel, but nothing that really stood out to me to get it above a 3 out of 5. Once I got to episode 8, something, I don't know if it was the writing, the directing, everything mixed, if this new cast just caught on better after getting a few episodes under their belt. But it started to get a little bit better towards at episode 8. I think they still have that feel to the original cast, but like, that didn't change. They're still the same characters that's mimicking, but something just turned around, and by episode 8 it got a little bit better. I actually started to find the cast and the jokes and the comedic stuff funny. And it actually made me look forward to maybe watching the second season, possibly if it gets one. It's Netflix. You never know with Netflix what they choose to cancel, what they choose to renew. But um, you know, it you get some nice you get obviously your relationship dramas and stuff in here. Like I said, I did have some issues with some of the storylines. Like there's an episode, which just ain't really a huge spoiler or nothing for it. There's an episode where it's Leia's 15th birthday, and she's celebrating it at Red and Kitty's, obviously, because she's there for the summer. But Eric and Donna never show up for their own daughter's birthday, which made no sense to me. You would think if they're going to do an episode involving her birthday, you would have Eric and Donna there. And they didn't show up. I thought that was kind of bad writing, in my opinion. That was a poor choice not to have them show up for their own daughter's 15th birthday. Yeah, I mean, she drove all the way from wherever they were living at, which I guess was like a couple hours away or something, all the way back when she thought her daughter, that Leia was fixing to have sex. But she didn't show up they didn't show up for their daughter's 15th birthday, which, obviously makes no sense. So it's just little things like that sometimes that hurt the writing a little bit, as well as the fact that, like I said already, it's nothing new. We've seen it before. It definitely feels repetitive at times. People. I understand you can't. You try not to think about the old characters that we've grown up watching and loving. You try to want to separate it because it is a new thing. But when you're writing these characters to mimic and resemble the characters that you've already seen and connected with, it makes it really hard to have that separation. So,
or enough to where you don't realize some things like that.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where that's why I kind of wish they went with the route of just bringing the original cast back and continuing it somehow with the original cast, and not bringing in and just completely redoing what we've already gotten. But with episode 8 getting better, and me actually tolerating the new cast more and actually finding some of the stuff they're doing funny. Like I said, I don't know if the writing got better or what, but I'm willing to watch the second season if it gets it. But I'm still only pushing this show to 3.5 out of 5 for me. Still not a bad score. Better than what it was before those last 3 episodes. But we'll see what happens. We'll see if they continue it. We'll see if they how they continue it. I mean, they set it up. They set some they set some things up to lead into the second season if they are to get it. But like I said, they'll go into this basically expecting same stuff we've already got from the first, from that 70s show, and expect Red and Kitty to pretty much carry this show for the whole 10 episodes. They were the best part. They made me laugh the most throughout the whole show. But just don't expect anything game-changing. Don't expect it to be anything amazing. Just expect it to be what we've already gotten, but set in the 90s with a new, inexperienced cast for the new kids anyways. And hopefully, if you look at it that way, you'll go in, if you've not watched it already, obviously, you'll go in and enjoy that 90s show a little more than I did. But could go into more details and spoil things more, but I'm not going to do that just because I want to keep this one more spoiler free for the most part. I don't think I've said anything too spoiler worthy. But again, 3.5 out of 5 for me on this one. We'll see if it gets a second season, and I'll watch it and review that one if it happens. So that is everything for this review of that 90s show. So please come like, subscribe, hit the bell to be notified for our videos, and we will see you all in the next one.